is live in Chandler, Arizona, and this happened when I was 17, during my heavy gaming phase. I still lived with my parents then, and most of my nights were spent in my room on my computer playing Call of Duty. Summers in Arizona are brutal, so being indoors with the AC running felt like the only option. Since my parents traveled a lot, I often had the house to myself. One Friday evening, after submitting a paper for school, I ran errands for my mum. She'd left me a shopping list and some cash. I drove to Whole Foods in my old Camry and did the usual routine. While in line, a man behind me struck up conversation. At first, I thought nothing of it, but he wouldn't stop talking, even as I bagged groceries. He seemed focused only on me, which felt strange. Still, I was polite, said goodbye, and left. It was dark by the time I got home. After unloading groceries, I hopped on Call of Duty Black Ops and invited my friend Johnny to play. We always ran team deathmatch for hours. I had my noise-cancelling headset on, totally absorbed. A couple of hours later, I told Johnny I needed a break to make dinner. While eating pasta in the kitchen, I heard a thump from upstairs. At first I brushed it off. It could have been anything. Still, I went and locked the front door, which I often left unlocked out of habit. Then I called out my brother's name into the empty hallway, even though I knew he wasn't supposed to be there. No answer. I returned to my room, texted Johnny, and got back into the game. A while later, something in my peripheral vision made me glance toward the hallway. My bedroom door was cracked open, the hallway dim except for a small nightlight. At first, I thought I imagined it. Then, when Johnny took a bathroom break, I looked back again and froze. The door crack, which had been pitch black, now showed the hallway faintly lit. I spun my chair around, and that's when I saw him. A man was sitting on my bed, upright posture, hands resting on his thighs, staring directly at me with a faint smile. My body reacted before my brain did. I leapt onto my desk, knocking over my monitor and everything else. I screamed, "What do you want?" His smile widened into something unsettling, almost amused. I bolted into the hallway. Halfway down, I turned back. He was standing in my doorway now, slowly stepping forward. His voice came out low and stuttered. "Can I play too?" Terrified, I demanded to know how he got inside. He pointed toward the stairs, as if to suggest he walked in through the front door I'd stupidly left unlocked. I ran downstairs, grabbed the landline and a kitchen knife and shouted that I was calling the police. I heard his footsteps descending. He walked past the kitchen, glanced at me one last time, then calmly exited through the front door. I slammed it shut, locked it, and stood there shaking. I called my parents. My mum was horrified, then furious. My dad told me to check the house for missing items. To my surprise, everything was in place. The man hadn't stolen a thing. That made it worse somehow. His intention hadn't been robbery. To this day, the image of him sitting silently on my bed, watching me through the crack in the door, haunts me. He didn't seem overtly violent, but something was deeply wrong with him. And the scariest part wasn't what he did, but what he might have been planning. This is a story I'm not proud of, mostly because of how naive I was. Back in middle school and early high school, I had no clue how to talk to girls. I wasn't shy. I had friends, went out, did normal things, but I had never kissed a girl. Some of my friends bragged about going further, and I felt pressure. One year we went from mocking girls to suddenly liking them, and I lagged behind. In 2010, when I was 13, gaming was my life. My favourites were GTA 4, Call of Duty, and a grindy MMORPG called Gonu. You leveled up killing monsters and unlocked tougher areas. The online community was massive, and I spent hours in it. That's where I met a player named Medusa. She was higher level, friendly, and we started chatting whenever we were both online. We'd team up, share XP, and talk endlessly. Eventually, she said her name was Teresa. She knew my age, my town, even details about my family. She lived about an hour away in New York, which felt like fate. We exchanged pictures. I sent a goofy selfie. She called me cute. She sent one back. She looked 15, very pretty. Our chats turned flirty. even romantic. She said her sister sometimes visited friends near my town and could get her a ride. The idea of meeting thrilled me. My chance came when my parents planned a weekend trip. I asked my older brother, who was 18, to stay out Saturday night so I'd have the house to myself. Teresa promised to come by. All day I was restless, cleaning my room, fixing my hair, rehearsing what I'd say. At last, she messaged, "I'm here." I rushed to the door, checked the peephole. Nobody. She texted, "Come outside." I stepped onto the porch. The street was silent. Confused, I went back in. She wrote, "Oops, wrong house, give me a minute," a little later. "I'm here again, come outside." I told her to ring the bell. The bell rang. My chest pounded. I looked through the peephole. Still no one. I called out, "Teresa?" A pale hand suddenly reached toward the door and knocked. Then a short, bald man stepped into view and said in a low voice, "Hey Joey, it's Medusa from Gonu. I want to talk." My stomach dropped. The girl I'd been talking to was a grown man. I bolted, shaking, covering my mouth. The bell kept ringing. I hid in my room, locked the door, and debated calling my parents but felt too ashamed. Then came another knock, this time at my bedroom window. I peeked through the blinds and saw him staring in. He tapped the glass and said we had a special connection, that we could at least be friends. I froze, terrified. Panicked, I called my brother. He rushed back with 3 friends. While I hid upstairs, they confronted the man. His excuse? He claimed he was teaching me a lesson about meeting strangers online. I yelled from the porch, asking why he told me we could be good friends at my window if that was true. He had no answer. My brother and his friends cursed him out, shoved him, and when he backed to his car, they smashed his taillight and hurled a rock at his window. He sped off into the night, never seen again. I felt humiliated and sick, but also grateful. My brother and his friends had protected me from something that could have gone very, very wrong. Looking back, it's horrifying to realize all the time I thought I was bonding with a girl my age. It was really a predator manipulating me. That night could have ended so much worse. This happened just last week. A bit of background. I had officially quit Fortnite. Not that it really matters, but this was May 2021, long after most people had already dropped the game. My friend Brandon suggested I download Apex Legends and play with him. I already had it installed, so I updated and logged in. I hadn't touched it since release, so my stats were terrible. I only had the starter legends, Pathfinder and Bloodhound, because I figured they were the best. Something else to note, I use a very loud gaming headset, so I can barely hear anything in the house when I'm playing. That night I was home alone. My parents had gone out for a late anniversary dinner, and my brother was at a friend's house. Brandon and I were mid-match when he suddenly said, "Dude, what the hell?" I just got a text from a random number. "What does it say?" I asked. He read it aloud. "Look out the window." I froze. "Don't look out the window," I muttered, trying to laugh it off. "No, dude," he said. "It says you look out your window." My room has 5 windows, so I didn't even know where to check. Heart racing, I glanced from one to the next until I spotted it, the least visible window from where I sat. Outside, a man stood motionless. He wasn't facing me, just standing there with his back turned. I put my headphones back on, unsettled but unsure what to think. Seconds later, Brandon got another text. His voice cracked. "Luke, I'm not messing with you. There's someone outside your window." "I know," I whispered. "I just saw him. He's facing away." Then Brandon said something that made my blood run cold. "He just sent me a picture of you at the window, looking clueless." "What the hell?" I shouted. Brandon told me to call the cops, but before I could, his mic went silent. I heard the Xbox notification. He left the party. That never happened. His name still showed in an Apex match, so I knew he hadn't logged off. Moments later, I got a party invite from his account. Relieved, I joined, but the voice on the mic wasn't Brandon's. It was deeper, older, and it said in a chilling tone, "Come outside right now, or I'll come in." I whipped my head back toward the window. The man was right there, window cracked under the force. My phone was on the couch next to me, but the battery flashed at 1%. I dialed anyway, whispering, "There's a man trying to break into my house. His face is red, his hands are bleeding." The pounding grew louder. Shards of glass began falling to the floor. I grabbed a kitchen knife, hard hammering, but the hole in the window widened fast. He was halfway through. I sprinted back to the kitchen, grabbed the cordless house phone, and bolted upstairs. The only lockable rooms were the bathrooms. Thinking quickly, I ran into my parents' bathroom and locked the door, leaving the bedroom door wide open. My hope was that if he came upstairs, he'd see the open bedroom and assume I wasn't there. Then I heard it, heavy footsteps on the stairs. My chest felt like it would burst. I opened a drawer, searching for anything sharp, and the noise must have given me away. He stomped into the bedroom. I held my breath, praying he wouldn't try the bathroom door. Then, salvation. Sirens blaring outside. The man froze. I heard him bolt back down the stairs, but it was too late. By the time he ran outside, police cars were already waiting. I rushed out of hiding and met the officers. They tackled him to the ground, handcuffing his blood-soaked wrists. Later, I pieced it together. Just a couple hours earlier, I had killed this guy in Apex and trash-talked him. Somehow he got my address and Brandon's number. That random text had been him, not some joke. He came to my house, ready to hurt me, or worse, because of a video game. Everyone gets frustrated at losing online, but showing up at someone's house in real life, that's madness. He was charged with aggravated burglary, and a few police cars